Resident Apollo Children's Hospital. I'm presenting this case under Dr. Madhubandhu Saravanan, consultant nephrologist, Apollo Children's Hospital. This is a 15-year-old adolescent boy, firstborn of non-consanguineous married parents from West Bengal. He presented with fever, which was low grade and intermittent for 2 weeks, along cola-colored urine for 5 days, reduced urine output, swelling of both legs, cough for 3 days, and anuria for almost 12 hours. So, for his fever, he was initially treated at his hometown with antipyretics and antibiotics. However, his fever persisted, and also he developed hematuria, oliguria, and edema of both the legs. History-wise, didn't have any joint pain or swelling, jaundice, or hemoptysis. He was investigated with basic blood and urine investigations and was brought here for further management. His past history is nil significant, no previous hospital admission, or no history of renal disorders or chronic illness in family members. On examination, he was lethargic, febrile, anemic, facial puffiness is present, bilateral pitting pedal edema was present, no icterus, no rash or oral ulcers. Anthropometry was appropriate for his age. Vitals were appropriate with BP falling on the 19th centile. Systemic examination showed mildly distended abdomen with no organomegaly or tenderness. Other systems were found to be normal. So, this is a 15-year-old boy with hematuria, edema, reduced urine output which progressed to anuria, and outside renal function also showed a raised creatinine with deranged electrolytes. So, this is a case of RPGN, possibly due to vasculitis syndromes, SLE, the PSGN, although this age group is not common, and IgA nephropathy and HUS. So we proceeded with the following investigations. The initial investigation showed a hemoglobin of 7.7. They raised ESR, severely deranged renal function of urea 210, creatinine was 8.7, sodium of 101, potassium of 5.7. And his urine routine also showed plenty of RBCs along with subnephrotic range proteinuria. Urine spot PCR showed 3.7. So this clinical picture and lab reports confirmed RPGN. So we proceeded with the vasculitis workup. Incidentally, we did an X-ray and found bilateral lung infiltrates. So initially we thought during this COVID pandemic whether this could be COVID. However, he was stable and did not show any signs of respiratory distress and saturating well in room air. And COVID RT-PCR also turned out to be negative. Other investigations for his fever also was found to be blood and urine culture was negative. The HIV, HBV, HCV serology were also found to be negative. We proceeded with the CT chest, which showed bilateral lung infiltrates with a few of the nodules with a few nodules showing cavitation. So the probable pulmonary renal syndromes were considered. Our diagnosis narrowed down to granulomatosis polyangiitis, microscopic polyangiitis, anti-GBM disease or SLE. Eventually, the vasculitis panel also came out. The C-ANCA found to be positive. Other investigation, other markers like ANA, anti-dsDNA, anti-GBM antibody were found to be negative. C3, C4 levels were normal. ASO were also normal. That rules out SLE and PSGN. And echo was found to be normal. Ultrasound abdomen showed grade 2 medical renal disease. So the diagnosis is with a clinical picture of RPGN, pulmonary involvement of seen on chest X-ray and CT chest, and with C-ANCA being positive, we made a diagnosis of granulomatosis with polyangiitis, and he received the following treatment: hemodialysis along with plasma exchange for 7 cycles, injection cyclophosphamide 1 dose along with methylprednisolone 1 gram IV followed by oral, and he also received rituximab single dose. On discharge, he had mild pallor, his edema settled well, and urine output was approximately 250 ml per day. His blood investigations showed a hemoglobin of 9.1. However, his urea creatinine was still deranged. Electrolytes were a bit normal compared to the admission values. Chest X-ray showed clearance after immunosuppressant therapy. He is on follow-up. He is at his hometown with receiving regular hemodialysis. His urine output is approximately 500 ml per day. Recently, after discharge from hospital, he had COVID infection and category A, and he was recovered with conservative management. He was planned for rituximab second dose and planned for a renal biopsy later. So, small discussion about granulomatosis polyangiitis. It is also known as Wegener's granulomatosis. It is a small vessel vasculitis associated with ANCA antibodies positive, and the granulomatous inflammation on histology with the pauci immune necrotizing inflammation. So other ANCA-associated vasculitis are microscopic polyangiitis, eosinophilic granulomatosis with polyangiitis, Strauss syndrome. This disease is a commonest. This is common presentation in adults. However, in pediatric age group, the age of mean age of presentation is around 14 years. Girls seems to be affected more than boys. The pathogenesis is ANCA. Presence of ANCA activates the neutrophils and monocytes. Causes release of pro-inflammatory cytokines. It leads to inflammatory vessels accumulation in the endothelium, leading to vascular damage. The clinical features include constitutional. The renal involvement is more common, around 83%, followed by lower airway, with cranial or peripheral nerve involvement being the least common presentation. The complications of this disease includes pulmonary hemorrhage, which can be dreadful. Subglottic stenosis can be present, along with saddle nose deformity due to persistent nasal ulceration. The criteria, there are several criteria for diagnosis. The commonest one is European League Against Rheumatism criteria. Among these 6 criteria, if 3 of the criteria are present, a diagnosis of GPA can be made. Upper airway involvement like recurrent sinusitis, serous otitis media, nasal discharge, epistaxis. Laryngotracheobronchial involvement like subglottic stenosis. Pulmonary involvement is seen in X-ray or CT. Histopathology from the upper airway or lower airway showing granulomatous inflammation, CNCA positivity, or a renal involvement in the form of proteinuria, hematuria, or hypertension, or crescent formation in renal biopsy. In this child, we had pulmonary involvement seen on CT, with the CNCA being positivity, and renal involvement in the form of severe hematuria and rapidly deteriorating renal function. So we made a diagnosis and we proceeded with the treatment. So the differential diagnosis are the commonest differential diagnosis granulomatosis with polyangiitis or Church-Strauss and microscopic. However, this is characterized by proteinase 3 or C-ANCA positivity. The other two, Church-Strauss and microscopic polyangiitis, characterized by P-ANCA positivity. And the history of asthma is commonly seen with Church-Strauss or eosinophilic granulomatous polyangiitis. The laboratory investigations show these are non-specific. However, CBC shows anemia, leukocytosis, thrombocytosis, elevated ESR and CRP, CNCA being positive, autoimmune necrotizing granulomatous lesion and biopsy. Treatment, the induction phase, the current there are no definite protocols for treatment of vaginous granulomatosis in pediatric population. These are extrapolated from the adult population only. The current treatment regimens used are either IV or oral methylprednisolone along with cyclophosphamide. However, rituximab is gaining popularity as induction in induction treatment. But once remission is attained, the patient can be started on maintenance therapy with methotrexate, azathioprine, or mycophenolate mofetil. Plasmapheresis, it has a role reduce in dialysis dependency in patients with severe renal involvement. These articles shows that the current intensive B cell depletion therapy along with IV cyclophosphamide and rituximab, it in patients with severe renal involvement shows rapid remission and also hemodialysis, early weaning from dialysis. These trials shows that RAVE and rituximab trials are the RCTs, which are studies the efficacy of rituximab in induction therapy in patients. This shows that rituximab is significant in patients with relapsing disease. However, it is also non-inferior compared to cyclophosphamide in a patient newly diagnosed patient. The PEXIVAS trial is a study which shows the importance of which studies the efficacy of plasma exchange in a patient presenting with CNCA associated vasculitis. It shows it can be used in a patient who presented with severe pulmonary hemorrhage at disease onset or with severe renal involvement. The long-term prognosis in this disease are the disease-associated complications are progression to end-stage renal disease, pulmonary hemorrhage, saddle nose deformity, uveitis, hearing loss. The treatment-associated complications include on prolonged immunosuppression, it leads to infection, sepsis, growth retardation, cataract, glaucoma associated with steroid, and infertility associated with the cyclophosphamide. So the take-home message is, in this child, when I did a chest X-ray, the first possible diagnosis, whether it could be due to COVID or other COVID-related sequelae,